Welcome to another show. I am James Swanwick. Great to have you here. Today we're talking to Craig Beich, who is a 42-year-old construction manager from Seattle, Washington. He's a father of two, and he lost 27 pounds during 90 days alcohol-free. 27 pounds in 90 days. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to have him share his story. I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's going to share about how he got amazing clarity, how he's hiking, doing bike rides, amazing relationship with his children, writing postcards to aunts and uncles that he hasn't really connected with over the years, meeting one new person a day, feeling like he's gone from a 7 to a 9 in his happiness, and lots more. So that's still to come on today's interview with Craig Beich. What's been going on with me? So I just had my birthday yesterday. In fact, as I'm recording this, it's still my birthday in the US. One of the benefits of being born in Australia on this side of the world is that I'm in the future. So I get my September 7 birthday here on this side of the world, and then all of my American friends wake up and they realize it's September 7 where they are, and then I get to have a whole nother day of birthday wishes. So it's a little greedy, I know, but I'll take it. I'm actually in Bali, Indonesia at the moment, and I had a birthday party last night here in Canggu, which is a beachside town, and I had probably about 30 people or so come to a beach walk that I organized. So at 5:45 p.m., as the sun was going down, we all congregated on the beach and we kind of walked up towards this very famous place called Fins, and then we turned around and walked back to it's called Batu Belong, or the beach is actually Old Man's. It's called Old Man's Beach, but the area is called Batu Belong. And then when we returned to that part of the beach where we started, we took a group photo. You can see that group photo if you want to go on my Instagram account, which is at James Swanwick. You can see my squad, so to speak. And then afterwards, we went up a little bit further on the beach under a little hut, and I put on some food, all healthy food. I counted 2 people of the 30 or so people there who were drinking alcohol. So one of them was my mate Felix. He was, I don't know what the local beer was. And there was another Aussie guy there who was drinking a beer as well. So out of 30 people, 2 people were drinking alcohol. 28 were not. Times have changed. I mean, Bali definitely attracts a very health-conscious crew. But I share the story just to illustrate that you don't need to have alcohol in order to have a birthday party. You don't need alcohol to have a good time. You don't need alcohol to have bonding and feeling connected or being part of a community. Everyone had a fabulous time. I've woken up this morning and to many messages from people saying thank you. It was amazing. And then last night when people were leaving, they said, wow, what a great community that we've created here. And I met some amazing people. And I'm like, you're welcome and thank you. I made a little speech, which was recorded, and I threw it up on my Insta story today. You won't be able to see it now because it's already gone off my Instagram. But, these little things, most people in the modern world would think that you must have wine or vodka or alcohol of some kind in order to have a birthday party or to host a function. Now, I paid for the food at the birthday party last night. I mean, I put down a couple $100 to provide food, and then I said to anyone, anyone who wants to buy their own drinks, just buy your own drinks. But I didn't feel compelled that I needed to provide alcohol for anyone. People had the choice to buy the alcohol if they wanted to, and only 2 people made that choice. And everyone had a fabulous time by all accounts. I know I did. So I just want to, again, share this just to try to help rewire your brain around the idea that you need alcohol to have a good time. You don't. You just, all it really takes is good people, community, connection. In fact, they've done this study, I think it was one of the longest studies that they've done, that show what are the 2 times where people are the happiest. And the first one was when they're eating. Number 1 is eating. The second one was sex. And then just on the eating one again, the study also said that when people were eating with people they know and like, whether it's family or friends, it's particularly enjoyable. So nowhere did they say when people are drinking. It's eating. It's a very primal kind of reptilian brain, caveman, cavewoman kind of thing, right? It's if we eat, then we're increasing our probability of survival, which must therefore give us some kind of happiness. And when we're eating with friends or allies, then we're particularly happy, right? So yeah, try having an alcohol-free party, hosting some people, come on over to your place. Try going to a party with taking some soda water or water. In fact, Craig, in this upcoming interview, which I'm just about to hit play on, reveals the brand of sparkling water that he takes with him everywhere he goes now. When he's invited to a function, he turns up with this particular brand. So even if people are offering him alcohol, he just politely declines and drinks his own healthy sparkling water. So that's coming up. And yeah, I think that's it from Bali, Indonesia. Nice to connect with you. So let's talk to Craig Beich, 42, construction manager from Seattle, Washington, father of two. How did he do it? How did he lose 27 pounds? How did he get clarity? What's his relationship with his kids like now, and what's his plans for the future? Here he is, Craig Beich. So Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? What's your story?
Yeah, James. So, Craig Beich. I'm from the Seattle area, pretty much born and raised here in Western Washington. I'm 42 years old, and I am a construction manager on some federal facilities here in the Puget Sound region.
Yeah, and your drinking career was pretty hefty. Is that a way to describe it before you actually quit drinking? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I got a pretty good resume, you could say, for drinking. I started out back in the teen years, kind of usual, running with the fellas, and then continued on through college. Maybe did a little bit more binge drinking and whatnot in college days. Got me prepped for real life, and then just kind of life started moving along. Started a family, beers while I'm mowing the yard and doing chores around the house, and that's kind of what my 20s looked like. And then into my 30s, I had a couple of major events in my life, and really dove into drinking severely. That was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and ever since then, it's been just a pretty much a nightly thing. I take typically about one, maybe two 15 to 30 day breaks a year, just to kind of give my liver a chance to heal up a little bit. But for the most part, it was a daily thing. And again, for the last 6-7 years, it was pretty significant every night.
And when you say it was a pretty significant thing and it was a nightly or daily thing, what were you drinking? Was it just beer, or was it beer and vodka and wine, or what were your drinks of choice?
Yeah, so it's through my 20s, like I explained, it was more just beer drinking, some like some Coors Light or something like that. So even a lighter beer. But then the IPAs came and started getting a little heavier. And then my drink of choice, it was whiskey. And if I wasn't doing whiskey, it'd be wine was pretty significant in my life towards the end, last 3 to 6 years. It was anywhere from 2 glasses of wine to a bottle was pretty typical every night.
Red or white wine?
It was red.
Okay. I remember living back in Los Angeles, California in the early 2000s. I used to go to Trader Joe's to get the $2 chuck, Charles Shaw, the Charles Shaw special. I remember watching a DVD series, The West Wing. You remember that TV show, The West Wing? I remember I got the whole DVD set, and I would come home from work each day and throw on one of the DVDs and watch an episode of West Wing while drinking a bottle of $2 chuck and eating some Thai food from around the corner on Hollywood Boulevard. And man, I put on some weight back then, I got to tell you. And I was just, that whole time was like, I wasn't like a fog, but I was just tired and, not sleeping great. What was your experience like kind of the day after you'd have these nightly drinks?
That was it. I mean, if I, on the weekends, if it was a hard liquor, it'd be like a true hangover, right? Where I'm not motivated. But in the end, I don't know if I couldn't metabolize the wine or not, but it was the disrupted sleep, I think, that was really killing me. And so it was just on top of the anxiety every day, it was just a brain fog I couldn't shake. Whether even if I drank one glass of wine or a bottle or two bottles or whatever, it just I'd wake up with the same just kind of hazed fog. And I don't know, maybe it was just the traditional hangover that I worked myself into or whatnot, but it was not a good feeling. It just really felt like crap every morning. And again, I think it was more just disrupted sleep, because it didn't really have any effect on the amount of volume that I drank the night before.
So were you falling asleep okay, but you weren't sleeping great in the night, or did it appear like you were sleeping great in the night, but when you woke up, you just were tired? Like, what was it?
Yeah, so I'd fell asleep real good, and then typically I'd wake up for a bathroom break during the night. But even if I didn't, I felt like I slept all night, and I wake up just drained, like I got maybe an hour or two. When I'd been in bed, and I was pretty good about trying to get to bed in at least 8 hours, 8.5 every night in bed. And so it had to have been alcohol.
Yeah. So you were clocking up 8.5 hours, but you were still waking up as if you'd only slept 1 hour.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, because when you have alcohol so close to bedtime, it is true that it helps you to fall asleep. However, the quality of your sleep is severely compromised. So let's just break this down. What is sleep? Well, sleep is when the body restores itself, right? Sleep is when the body restores broken muscles, it replenishes the glucose in your brain. You want to be in as restorative state as you possibly can. But when you drink alcohol, you're now sending your body to work throughout the night at a time when you're not supposed to be sending it to work. It's supposed to be resting. So what it's doing is your liver is now processing and trying to break down all of that alcohol. It's trying to get it out of the system. Toxins are flooding through your body, and you do not spend as much time in that deep restorative phase of sleep. I wear an Aura ring, which kind of tracks my sleep. And you can see, even if I eat within the last 3 hours before I go to sleep, I can see how the quality of my sleep is damaged because of that. Because if you eat within 3 hours of sleep, then your body is now trying to work to break down the foods, to get out the nutrients, to break down whatever it is that you've eaten. And so you're not in that deep restorative phase of sleep. So it makes sense that you were drinking, and yes, it helped you get to sleep. But what's the point of that if you wake up in the morning feeling like you've been hit by a truck every day, which sounds like what you were feeling or experiencing? That massive fog and anxiety. Classic drinking. Yeah, it's really been interesting to toy with my sleep and how restorative I can be. Actually, whether if I wake up refreshed, or if I, like you're saying, if I eat before bed nowadays, or if I train or work out really hard the day before and I wake up, I just I can listen to my body, I guess, better now, because alcohol is out of the situation, right? So that's been pretty cool along this journey. And when you were saying you were foggy as a result of waking up when you were drinking, like, how did that show up in your life? Like, how was that impacting certain areas of your life?
Man, it's everything, James. It was, driving to the store, being around crowds really, really made me anxious. And it's just because I wasn't at the top of my game. I'd walk into a store and I really felt like that, my head was underwater, and it was just piled the anxiety on, and it was everything. Driving down the road, I was in traffic, I just really, it would bring on the anxiety, and my head just, again, was underwater. I couldn't really focus on any one thing. So I was just really scattered, as I guess would be the best way to describe it, going out. But it affected everything, relationships, obviously, travel, working. I showed up every day to work, most days. There was a few days I'd call in, just hungover, just tired, right? Just wanted to restore and refresh, and I'd lay in bed all day long and just try and recover. So yeah, it affected from the moment I woke up and got out of bed, it affected everything I did in life. Until I guess, started drinking again and wiped away some of that fog, and
Mm.
away we went on the hamster wheel. Yeah, I'd say, I mean, it'd be a 5 or a 6 depending on the day, right? Whether it's effort or just showing up and just sitting in a seat, or really driving and directing. Because it's my job. A lot of it's having to deal with budget and schedules, and so yeah, I wouldn't make a phone call, or kind of ignore an email, or kind of push it off until I got a couple cups of coffee in me and tried to shake off what I could. And so I would say, overall, if I was 5, maybe 6, right in there as far as productive goes at work.
Mm. And we'll get to the alcohol-free lifestyle in just a moment. But now, how as it is the last couple of weeks, say, how productive are you? How would you rate yourself?
It's been quite the change. So I'm somewhere between, I'm probably around an 8, maybe an
Wow.
8 plus. I mean, it's significant.
Yeah, I mean it's like a 30% jump, right? You're going from 5 to 8,
And
6
and
to 8.
people
Yeah,
have
it's
noticed,
huge.
all the way up, people I work with daily, to subcontractors, to my boss, to the owner. They can tell the difference.
How do they tell you? How do they demonstrate that they can tell the difference?
Well, it's more so because I used to have, these ideas or thoughts in my head, but maybe nobody's going to listen to me, or we'll just go along with what they say. But I've really, if something's not working, and it's happened a couple times in the last 6 months. If something's not working, I'll just have a conversation, bring it up so people are aware, and lo and behold, people listen, and they change, how things are structured or what other people are doing, and so the whole project as a whole can move forward more efficiently, with the team in place, versus everybody just kind of complaining about what's not getting done, maybe throughout the day, or complaining about this guy or what this guy's not doing. So I'm really starting to take charge, and just kind of put pieces together so everybody can be more productive, not just myself.
Mm. You're a father of two, so how were your relationships with your kids when you were a little bit foggy, let's say, and during your drinking days? And then how have your relationships with your kids changed since you've been consistently alcohol free?
Yeah, it was tough. So I'm a father, so I'm a weekend father. So I get my kids a couple weekends a month, and so that time is very precious. And I really enjoy going out and experiencing things with the kids and showing them things. And they're 12, and my son's going to be 14 next week, so 12 and 14. And I mean, I'd sleep in as long as they did, on weekends when I was drinking, and just kind of try and shake it off. And then, maybe we'd go do stuff, or maybe we'd just kind of push it off, and they were okay with kind of whatever, go with the flow. But in my own mind, I just didn't feel good. And so maybe we wouldn't go do an extra something, go get some ice cream, or go do whatever. And now I just had them for 3 days, and we had the best weekend. I'll take them shopping. Take them to Blizzard, get Blizzards, and I take them out to enjoy restaurants that they've never been to, or food. They want to go to their favorite restaurant. Oh no, let's go try something different, and just kind of opening up their world. And I'm definitely there listening, not just trying to appease them so they'll go away. So I'm really engaging with them more in conversation with what they're interested in, and trying to pull on my pant leg to show me, which it's been great. I mean, it's just more quality time,
Mm.
and being present with them.
And how do you think your increased presence will affect them and their further developmental years, I guess, because they're 12 and 14. Like if dad is more present and having more fun and more engaged, how do you think that might affect them?
Yeah, I think yeah, they're both in middle school now, so it's very important. They're both going obviously through some hormonal changes, and then the different shifts, and school is just weird right now in the U.S. anyhow. Mask, or we're going to school, or part time, or whatnot, and so they're going through their own changes. But yeah, for me to be present with them and just kind of talk them through certain situations or kind of be there, solid rock for them to just, so they know that they can come talk to me, and try to make them comfortable. I think it's huge. It's huge for them right now versus just everybody kind of doing our thing and ignoring each other and being on our phones or something. We pulled out a board game. We had a couple hours left on the weekend a couple weeks ago, and it's like, what do you want to do? Well, let's play some board games, and we had the time of our life. They're always at each other's throats and kind of bickering. They're siblings in middle school, but just a simple board game. It was so much fun. We all had a really great time. So it's just the little things, and plus just kind of showing them that we're all still a family, right? We don't need to pick on each other all the time. And as far as them go, life lessons.
So you did Project 90, which is the signature program that my organization, Alcohol Free Lifestyle, has. So let's just talk a little bit about what results you generated from being what is now at least 3.5 months alcohol free. So what were the results you generated with your health? We'll walk through them. We'll do health, wealth, love, happiness. So health, what happened?
So health, man, I lost 27 pounds when I was in the program, and a majority of it was obviously just quitting the alcohol and all that sugar and wine that I was drinking every night. But it also allowed me the freedom to kind of set goals and commit to something. And so I started eating healthier. After about 3 weeks into the program, I started really eating healthier. And then I started working out, and I walked a lot. I'd walk 4 or 5 nights a week, probably 4 miles a night, started riding my bike. And so it just kind of naturally progressed into, I felt better. I was sleeping better, and it allowed me just to get out, and I was constantly moving. I don't have a TV on purpose. Just started that basically at the beginning of the program that I started. And so, yeah, I had to find something else to do, and it included a lot of time outdoors, which was great in the summer, and down 27 pounds.
In 90 days.
In 90 days, yeah. I was trying to lose 15.
And you lost 27. Wow, it's incredible. And what feedback have you got from people who haven't seen you in a while, who now see you? What do they say?
It's amazing. It's like every 30 days, it was like a follow-up. I have some friends that own a store down by that kind of a private beach. And so we take their kids down there basically once a month. And so, yeah, it's like, oh, you've been losing weight, about 30 days into it. No, yeah, I'm losing weight. I quit drinking, And then 2 months into it, it's like, oh, yeah, are you working out? You're kind of toning up. Oh, yeah. And then I went down there right before the 90 ended, my program 90. And it was like a crowd of people, a handful of my friends were like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, how much weight have you lost? And it was really obviously a confidence booster in myself because I'd been seeing it in the mirror, right? But I lost the weight so quickly and toned up as well that, everybody I kind of go and see nowadays are like, wow, what have you done? So, no, it's exciting. I'm really proud of myself, and I couldn't have done it without quitting drinking, obviously.
Did you check yourself out naked in the mirror when you get out of the shower, Craig? Did you, as you were going along, where you're like, wow, damn, you look good, Craig.
Yeah. I got a house full of mirrors now. It's fun. Yeah, I haven't been under 200 pounds in probably 6 years. And I'm right at about 196 now.
Okay.
So it's felt really good. It's been a while. I haven't been able to go on those hikes that I want to do, or those bike rides. I remember back in May, I went on a bike ride with a couple buddies, and they weren't supposed to whoop me like they did. But man, I was thought I was gonna puke. I thought I was gonna be walking out of there. And I actually took those same friends on a bike ride last week, pretty much the same trail, and I whooped them. And they both acknowledged the fact that, wow, you're riding pretty hard, and you're strong, so it's not just I'm losing weight. I've really improved everything health-wise in my life.
Amazing. Okay. So we've covered health. So wealth, I've covered a little bit of that with your profession, but anything notable happened with the wealth in your life, whether it's improving at work or making any kind of financially strategic choices?
So I'm not so much work wise. I mean, obviously the end of the goal as a construction manager is bonuses, right? So the more efficient and productive we are at work as a team, the more potential for a bonus in the end of a project. And so I haven't seen anything really reaping right now as far as financials go. But no, I have no doubt that me and a clear mind in the future will reap many benefits wealth wise.
Yeah. Love, which could mean, family, children, marital, could mean friendships. What shifted for you, or what results did you generate in
Yeah,
your life?
That's been an interesting one as far as relationships go. I mean, just some of the tools that are provided have you go into like to being grateful, right? And so that's been a big thing for me. There's been relationships like with my mom and my dad, and I have one sister, or those when we communicate, it's on a different level. But it's not only that, because they understand what I'm going through. They're the closest to me as far as anybody that I've talked to about Project 90, and it's the aunts and the uncles that I never really gave time to in the past. Maybe it was kind of surface level conversations, but I've actually been picking up the phone and reaching out and just getting to know some of my extended family and building on those relationships. And it's just something that I've wanted to do. I started writing just little postcards and notes and mailing them out to a few of them as well. And it's just something about writing, and it's lost, I think, in our society right now. And that's still the generation that remembers it. And so they really appreciate it. And so the gratitude I get from those little interactions too. I've just been really trying to manifest and build on the relationships that I've been kind of ignoring for my whole life.
Happiness. What results did you generate in happiness?
Happiness. Well, when I started this, I was going through a really tough time with my wife, and we just got financially separated and sold our house. And that's one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and do this. It was very challenging, and I wanted to be able to kind of, I guess, conquer my alcohol and just kind of have a better outlook on life and have a clear head to make these decisions. And in the end, my happiness, I always wanted to be happy, right? I read the books to self-help and try and implement some tools in my life, and obviously listen to your podcast and your stories for years and years now. And just something was always missing. And so once I moved that alcohol out of the situation, my happiness just skyrocketed. Everything I've been trying to learn and read and discover the last 5, 6, 8 years, I got to implement. And man, I can't, I'm by myself now, but my happiness, like we talked about with my kids, I mean, my happiness level there is great. Happiness at work is amazing because other people are happier as well, just for me being around, because I'm trying to get them not to, focus on the negative stuff. And so I'm just kind of a ball of light everywhere I go. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm hiking, I'm talking to people, I'm trying to meet one new person every day. And I just want to touch on people and them to feel my happiness. So yeah, I've gone from probably a 7 to a 9 in just overall happiness. And it all started without drinking and just implementing some tools into my life to allow me to be happy.
So what were some of those tools that you learned inside of Project 90 that you might want to share with our listener here? What gave you the most leverage here in actually finally being able to break the back of alcohol?
So the gratitude 20, the daily 20. So you wake up, or you kind of do you're encouraged to do write down a list of 20 things you're grateful for every day, no matter what time. And I found early on, it's kind of like, oh, you kind of write through the same thing. But I found I'd be waking up early on the weekends, and I just kind of want to sit around and not do much. And I had energy. And there was a few moments in the first couple weeks that I just sat down and said, well, I'll do my gratitude 20. And so I did it, and it like set me on fire for the day. I was up and going, and it just really it perked my mood, and it set the tone for the whole day. And that's something I fell back on often. I did the gratitude 20 quite a bit, not daily, but I'd say probably 5 days a week. But it was one tool I really utilized to keep me on board, because I knew it would bring me into a happy place, as well as kind of breath work. I think one of the videos talked about sitting down and breathing for 3 or 4 minutes or something, and changing your whole psychological being inside of you or something. And it works. If I was frustrated, I'd sit and I just focus and I breathe for a few minutes, and then I was back to being happy and grateful. So those are a couple. And journaling, I used to journal a lot. And I remembered our first call. You were the coach on the call, and I committed to you that I would journal for, I think it was 7 days, for 10 minutes a day. And it was day one, and I started journaling, and I made time for it. So it was just making time for me to do what I want to do, to continue on and make my day better and more productive. And journaling was a big part of that as well. Again, I didn't do it every day, but it was really there when I needed to. And it was kind of like, hey, maybe I'll just take a time out and I'll go spend 15 minutes and go write with myself right now. And it seemed to get me in a good mindset sometimes when I needed it. It was just another tool that I could use. So I think those are three of the biggest tools as far as what I used or could fall back on myself daily if I needed.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what to attribute it to, but it put me in a different mindset, and it just kind of let me know, whether I needed to get something off my chest or whatnot. But it was just another one of those great little tools that I could use when I needed it, and it just reignited in me, And it's just funny that it was the very first commitment I made to you on the coaching call, and it was such a big part of my next 90 days.
You mentioned the coaching calls. Maybe just describe for our listener what they are and what you got out of them.
Okay, yeah. So it's people from all over the world, and you get the opportunity. There's calls at various days and various times of the week, and every time it seemed we try and jump on at least one a week, and it seemed like you meet at least one new person, and there was a coach there, whether it was yourself, James, obviously, or Coach Victoria, and then Coach Sarah down in Australia. I met her once, and it's just it's a safe place for people. I was in calls that there was 4 people on, and I was on calls that there was, I think, 15 people on. So depending on the scope of the people that are in the call, you'd have breakout rooms and just discussions that kind of, there was no real script or agenda. It didn't seem every call there'd be a different the coaches would ask a question that everybody would kind of talk about and relate to, but then from there, you'd always come out learning something, something different, and taking notes, and every call, which was pretty cool. And then from the call, we were encouraged to go on the Marco Polo site. Obviously, it was where everybody would go and share kind of what they learned about the meeting before, and the people that weren't in the meetings could learn about them, and then it was just a whole different discussion. Almost a lot of the times that came out of the coaching calls would start just from the polos of coaching calls. So,
and just for context for the listener, when Craig's referring to Marco Polo or Polo, we use an application on a phone which enables our members to communicate with each other via video selfie. So instead of being in, say, like a WhatsApp group or a text message group, for example, you're in a video chat group where the way of communicating is via just doing a little selfie video. And so that way you can see people's body language and mannerisms. And a lot of times people will take little videos of their home or their family. And so other clients or other members in Project 90 get to know each other a little bit more. And it sounds like that gave you a really good feeling of community and accountability, Craig. Is that right?
It did. The accountability, it was huge, and just to be able to support people, and stuff they're going through with their lives as well. It was just a really personal, safe place for anybody, and they can share whatever they wanted to. And towards the end, one of the members said she went back through and she watched all of my Marco Polos from the beginning. I said, "Well, hey, that's not fair. I didn't even know we could do that." So I went and did that, and that was pretty cool just to see my growth and my uncomfortableness from day one, and then obviously the weight loss all the way through, which was kind of a cool emotional journey after the 90 days. So there's that too.
Yeah. Was there a big noticeable physical change in you and your demeanor maybe as well from when you made your first post to your last?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was, I never really got comfortable with the whole idea, and like totally comfortable with just videoing myself. But I was definitely, calmer. I definitely was, more poised to talk to a group and do a camera by myself towards the end. So it was, it was great to see the growth from maybe someone else's perspective.
A lot of people have a lot of reservations about being alcohol-free in social gatherings, whether it's a dinner party or a barbecue or a family get-together. How did you manage to be alcohol-free amongst others who were drinking? What were the tools that you used to navigate that?
It wasn't, I was around it. I wasn't around it a ton, but there was times and some trips that I took. So, I mean, we just, I would be prepared, right? Bring, if you're going to go to a barbecue, I'd bring my water or whatever I wanted to drink. If I'm at a bar or restaurant, it'd be a soda, water, and lime and some ice. But it's, I didn't really find it. I thought it was going to be more of a big deal, I guess, than it really was, because everybody was pretty accepting, or they just didn't care. I didn't, you get the guy that come back to you a couple of times and ask you if you want a drink or why aren't you drinking or whatever. But it happened a couple of times, and then they're out everybody's doing their own thing, and they don't really care in the end. And so I found it kind of almost quite easy just to kind of if I was prepared and I had something in my hand just to drink, just to socialize, I'd be slamming some LaCroix, some waters, sparkling waters like crazy. I'd be peeing a lot, but I didn't find it super difficult to be in that situation, especially after. Man, it was probably day 45 to 50, somewhere in there. It's just something, I don't know, it clicked in me. I had no desire or craving to drink at all. It was just this transformation. I woke up one day and I posted a Marco Polo about it. There was nothing that excited me that I wanted to do it anymore. And from there, I wouldn't judge anybody, but if they're drinking alcohol and I could smell the alcohol, it was almost like a cigarette smoke, just kind of that's gross. I'm not tempted to do it, right? from that point forward. So I think that kind of helped too. Once my mind was ready and knew that I didn't want it, I didn't crave it. It was easier to be in that environment.
You mentioned LaCroix. That's the name of the soda water brand, is it? Sparkling water brand?
Yes, correct. So I've been drinking quite a bit of those, and I don't really drink sweet stuff. I used to drink some energy drinks back probably 5-6 years ago, probably way too many of them. And I remember it was probably the first week, and I was in the grocery store, and it was a trigger. Like I turned the aisle, and I was like, "Oh no, this is the beer section. This is where we go to get it done." And I didn't avoid it. I kind of turned to the side, and there's this this big cooler full of energy drinks. I grabbed an energy drink and I took care of it. So I kind of crushed on energy drinks to use those a little bit through this thing as well. But it was just kind of a treat that I used to have that was kind of relatable that I didn't have all the time. But for the most part, it was just sparkling waters in the can.
And so what now, Craig? I mean, you did Project 90, you completed it. You did 90 consecutive days alcohol-free. On day 90 or day 91, did you go out to the bar and get blind drunk and do shots and tequila and celebrate and say, yay, I'm out of my 90-day prison, let me have some alcohol? Or did you do something different?
I did go to my number one brewery spot. I hadn't been there all 90 days. I wasn't trying to avoid it or anything. I went by myself and I ordered a root beer on tap, and I sat there and I just, it was a great experience. That was on my 91st day actually. And so that's how I celebrated. Moving forward, when I started this thing, James, it was, I wanted to think about it. I quit smoking cigarettes 12 years ago, and that's how I wanted alcohol to be in my life. I just didn't want it to be part of my life. And I didn't want to be sober or, I'm not drinking, it's just like, it's not a part of me. I don't drink. And that's where I'm at. It's I can't tell you I'm not going to smoke a cigarette tomorrow or in a week, and I can't tell you the same for alcohol. But I don't want it now, and it feels great. It's just not part of who I am, and so I don't even feel like having to explain to people. And I don't this whole thing. I haven't said, oh, I'm sober. I've been saying I don't drink. And so I think that's just kind of ingrained that in my mind too, that, I'm sober kind of means to me like, well, maybe you had a drinking problem or it's just kind of a society thing, I guess. I mean, if you don't drink, then you must be sober. But so that's kind of how I played it, but I have no desire or intention to drink, James, in the near future, ever could be. I'm not really, chaining myself to anything, but I don't feel like I need to. It's just like cigarettes, which is awesome.
And just to clarify for the listener as well, when you said you ordered a root beer, that's a non-alcoholic soft drink, right?
That is a no caffeine and no. It's kind of like a ginger beer, but
yeah.
Which So there's lots of sugar, but no alcohol for sure.
Yeah. Great.
Sorry about
okay. Amazing. Well, Craig, congratulations, mate. Well done. I'm really happy for you. And thanks for being such a great, positive, supportive influence in Project 90 with all of our other members as well. I know that I saw you supporting other members, and I saw them supporting you, and you showed up and you played full out, and it seems like you're reaping the benefits of those. I can't believe you lost 27 pounds. It's so amazing. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, I thank you, James. I can't believe I'm here right now. I mean, I used to seriously just have you on my earbuds, anxiety, walking it off in nature and just listening to your story or listening to some of your podcasts. And to be here in this position now, it just feels incredible. Like, I can't thank you enough for you putting this group together and doing the work that you're doing around the world. It's amazing. And I thank you.
You're so welcome. And as I understand it, you've made a pretty significant move. You're going to move to Idaho. So maybe you can share some videos of you walking through nature in your new place of residence. Tell us a little bit about that just as we wrap up here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've been wanting to move to Idaho for about 10 years now, and it's going to happen in the spring at the latest. So it's looking like maybe March at this point, but it's just, again, I've lived here all my life, and I'm really excited to get out there and enjoy some of the Rocky Mountains and some of the rivers. And the clarity gives me, it's scary, right? But it's I'm clear-headed, and I'm making these decisions based off what I want in my life for me, and it just feels incredible. And I'm just going to go there and smile and create happiness over there.
Craig, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations, and looking forward to following you on your alcohol-free journey.
Thanks, James.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I want to load you up with some free stuff. If you look in the show description, there's a link there to get my guide, which is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide. And in that guide, I will walk you through the process and system for successfully reducing or quitting alcohol. It's the same system and process that I give to my clients inside of Project 90. And if you would like to get your hands on that guide, you can click the link in the description part of this episode, or you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Likewise, if you would like to be considered for Project 90 to join our community and get some accountability, some coaching, and have fun, achieve some goals over at least 90 days with our help and support, then you're invited to schedule a complimentary coaching call with one of my coaches. You can do that by clicking the link in the show description or going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule. Now, Project 90 is for over 30s only, and it's really for people who are ready to get long-term power over alcohol. You don't have to quit forever, but you will have to quit for at least 90 days with our support. Just a reminder, 95% of my content is free and plastered all over the internet. If you just Google James Swanwick and the word alcohol, you'll find that. For those of you who want additional support, if you want coaching, fun, accountability, if you realize that you can't do this on your own or you just plain don't want to, then I invite you to schedule that call and we can talk about if Project 90 is for you. If you would like to take some of my supplements, swanvitality.com is the website. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I have a liver support product called Loving Liver, which I designed and specially formulated to help remove toxins from your liver after years of alcohol consumption. Again, there's a link in the show description. We've also got a green powder there, which turns into a green juice filled with amazing ingredients to support you and give you energy throughout the day. And there's also a magnesium product, which I take every night to help me prepare for sleep and to sleep through the night. So there's a few options there. Lastly, if this episode or the show in general has helped you or supported you in any way, I would so appreciate it if you would write a review. It really does help the show climb the rankings and expose the show to people who don't yet know about us. So if this show has benefited you in any way and you feel compelled to pay it forward, just writing a short little review, hopefully a nice one, will be so appreciated, and I will thank you immensely. Lastly, if you'd like to talk to me about anything at all, feel free to send me an email at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. I do read and respond to every email. And you can also follow me on Instagram at James Swanwick. Send me a message there. And I look forward to connecting.